Thank you, President Jones and the executive leadership at Sawgrass State University. The current climate has now impacted what the perception of social responsibility is for social institutions. And so therefore, Sawgrass State must adopt a strategic decision-making process in order to be able to fully execute on your pursuit of mission and values. So why are we here today? We're here to help Sawgrass State University protect its students by providing resources to prevent fentanyl-laced overdose death, while also building a culture to reduce the likelihood of needing these resources. My name is Salima Hamija, and today I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Palmer Moore, and together we are L&P Consulting.
So going through our agenda briefing, we're going to go over the situation, overview, in-depth analysis, proposed solution, and finish up with our implementation.
So, we accepted the mission and vision of Sawgrass State University to be focused the mission on empowering students to contribute to the betterment of society, and the vision to be focused on creating a learning environment that promotes human flourishing. From this mission and vision, we extrapolated 4 core values, which are integrity, community, ownership, and respect. These 4 core values are central to what it means to be a part of our Sawgrass State University community, and they're extremely important to our stakeholders. But who are they?
And so we group our stakeholders in 2 different sets. Our internal and external stakeholders, mainly focusing on the Sawgrass State campus, which are our highest priority and also the highest impact and opportunity for value creation and extraction. So what exactly here is a group problem? We understand that external factors that suppress the ability for you, Sawgrass State University, to fully execute on your pursuit of your mission and vision. So the key problem to think your minds will continue to navigate through the solution is, how do you prepare your students to flourish despite being exposed to challenges for which they're not really prepared for? So let's take a look at the current analysis. The current situation suppresses the ability for Sawgrass State University to act on their mission and vision, which leads at jeopardy. And thus, there's confusion about which actions best align with the school and which ones are the school's core values. Simultaneously, this is weakening the culture at Sawgrass State University because of the inability to live with such shared values of community, respect, ownership, and integrity. How does this affect in the legal environment? There's 2 impacts here, both of the individual and the institution. So looking at the institution, we have the Drug-Free in School and Communities Act, which essentially states that any school that receives federal funding for drug and alcohol programs increase such visibility of such a program. On the individual levels of Florida state statute that directly addresses the individual and says anyone in possession of Schedule 1 through 5 is subject to some sort of felony. Now, how does Sawgrass State University operate in this current financial climate?
There are 2 main financial components to this situation. The first is risk related to overdose. If students continue to overdose on Sawgrass State University's campus, they can face litigation in court, which can cost them lots, both in the litigation fees and also potential levy damages, as well as hurts to their brand and PR. The other main component is enrollment funding. We've seen over the past 10 years a huge decline in students enrolling in higher education, and because of this, tuition dollars are dropping and it's placing stress on universities. That said, Florida State schools are better adapted to handle the situation because on average they're only 21% funded by tuition dollars, when compared to the national average, which is 42%. That said, it is still vitally important that Sawgrass State pay attention to this issue because if the perceived value of higher education continues to decrease, the school could cease to exist. Now, our solution is Panthers Protect. We broke our problem into 2 pieces. First, the symptom, which the students are dying, but the root cause, which is that negative externalities are causing good people to make harmful decisions. Our solution to the symptom is providing naloxone to help save students' lives, but then we really want to focus on our root cause, which is to create an ethical culture to prevent the need of naloxone in the first place. Now, we're going to do this through balancing informal and formal systems to strengthen our culture. And this, in sum, is our program, Panthers Protect. Looking first at how we address the symptom of this naloxone distribution, we wanted to implement 11 different naloxone distribution machines across our campus, specifically in our residence halls. Then, we're going to place 1 in our University Health Services building and 1 in our Student Union building. The reason for the differences between these locations is that on average, it takes about 2.6 minutes for first responders to respond to an emergency on college campuses. In those 2.6 minutes, they are vital to saving the life of an individual who's overdosing. By placing naloxone in on-campus residence halls, individuals can have the chance to administer a dose of naloxone before a first responder could get there. But we also recognize that 60% of our students live off campus, and so therefore we're putting them in high traffic areas where someone can pick up a dose on their way to or from school and store it at home. Additionally, these machines will require a swipe of a student ID and the entering of a 4-digit PIN, which we'll talk about later, and it will track their student ID number. This is what a dose of nasal naloxone looks like. The brand you might be familiar with is Narcan.
And so as we've addressed the symptoms, it's very important for us to also address the root cause, which is our Sawgrass State Panther at the middle. which is that environmental pressures are causing our good students to make harmful decisions as they interact with other adults. And so as our students begin to engage with the different communities, we want to develop them to be effective leaders as they continue in their engagement. Which then leads to our second part, which is building a clear and strong foundation, one of our formal systems, in which Sawgrass State University will foster a drug-free environment characterized by understanding, learning, and helpfulness on one hand, and directness and conservatism on the other. We do want to state here that anyone involved in a sale of drug will be dismissed immediately per the Florida State statute. And so built upon this clear foundation, this also establishes rights not only for university students, but also gives university jurisdiction to act.
Now, the other formal system we have is our orientation and training. Prior to coming to Sawgrass State University, students will complete online modules covering these 4 topics, as well as where they will set that 4-digit PIN that is required when they swipe out the last. Additionally, we recognize that it's not enough to just tell students things once. We have to routinely train and educate them. So to do this, we're going to have students trained on naloxone when they come to our campus so they can actually feel a dose and feel administering it to a test dummy. And then additionally, we'll have posters around our campus regarding our code of conduct and how it directly interacts with drug use. Then, moving to our informal systems, we wanted to focus on building norms. We want people to recognize and promote Panther Protect. The way we start by doing this is by having campus-wide activities and a social media promotion of our program. We will have students understand what our values are and how this program serves to protect them. Then, we're going to have an annual celebration recognizing those who are taking ownership in our community. These are the individuals who are stepping up and living out our values, and by giving them awards and celebrating them, we create role models in our society that others can look up to. And then lastly, we're going to sign a community pledge. And what this community pledge does is actually one of our rituals. You can see here on the left an example of what the pledge would say, but in short, it is essentially affirmatively committing yourself to our 4 core values and saying that you will live them out in our society.
And so, how exactly is our solution being implemented? We plan on leveraging both our internal and external stakeholders into these 3 different subsets: our university leaders, student leaders, and community leaders for the task force. And what does this visualization look like? We have Gracie Jones, an incoming first-year student. Year 1, she goes to orientation and training. By year 2, we continue to build on routine education that also increases her confidence. Year 3, she becomes an active participant, and by year 4, she exemplifies this value not only within and there, but also in her interaction outside.
So how does this help us enact our mission and vision? By building an ethical, values-based culture of a code of conduct establishing our integrity, norms and rituals building our community, training and empowering individuals to take ownership, and ritual of signing the pledge to build respect. Now, the NPV of this project is $1.4 million, and it includes the costs listed here. And this will be funded through a marginal increase of student fees, and we really wanted to not increase tuition because that comes with PR scrutiny. Thank you.